just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out. Lightning in a bottle. I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out.
Yo, welcome back. It's First Choice Fantasy, First Choice Podcasts. You're watching First Choice Fantasy. And welcome back. It's going to be another episode, actually our final episode, right? Final Divisional
NFC North.
episode.
Or NFC North, we still have the NFC North.
Yeah,
just the NFC North, I believe.
We should have saved this for last, but we're not going to. We're going to talk about...
No. We also got the AFC
Yeah, we've got like two
South.
more after this.
Yeah, AFC South, NFC North.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
Carson
the second.
Wentz. Yeah,
this is the second episode since our mock draft, and the mock draft was halfway point.
Good call. But
God,
going to do
so many divisions.
What are we doing today? Alex?
8 of them. We're doing the minor league of the NFL.
NFC East.
The NFC least.
Kelly Green.
There is more punching bags in here than I can even try to go through. I'd end up with broken fingers and my hands would be worn down to nubs.
I have higher hopes for this division than last year because I think the Eagles are pretty. I don't mean this in a football sense, but in a regular term sense, a wild card.
Yeah,
the Eagles are a wild card.
I agree with that.
I think the Washington football team and the Cowboys are two of the sluggers at the top of the division. And I think the Giants kind of slide in with the Eagles as a wild card. Like, you don't really know what's going to happen. I don't think there's a chance that either of those teams, blow, bottom five. I don't think that's going to happen on either team. I have high hopes this year, especially with fantasy aspects for all teams.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get into it with the Cowboys, but I'm not sure what they've added on defense, and they definitely needed something on defense.
They added
linebackers. Draft? Okay. Well, they needed it.
And some corners in the draft. Yeah, that's what they should do. They should just trot out 6 linebackers as if this is 1958 or something.
Mm-hmm.
May as well, man.
See, the thing about this division is that it's probably got the worst management and ownership in the entire league. By far. I mean, there's enough shitty ownership and management and just non-football people in general. There's enough stupidity in here to compete against entire conferences. 2/3 of the NFC's stupid people are in this division. It's absurd.
I agree.
It's not good. Anyone got anything?
I'm just going to say, everyone trashes on this division, but let's be honest, this is outside of our fandom for the Eagles. I personally find this being, one of the most entertaining divisions. They may suck, but, when it comes down to it, because at the last few weeks,
because we haven't had a consecutive division winner in 15 consecutive seasons. I think it's more than that. I think it's 18 or some shit like that. It's been since the early 2000s.
And we're always head to head. The last 2 weeks, there's a game where it's Cowboys, Redskins, or Washington football team, or all these always. And it's so exciting. Even if the two teams are terrible.
Pretty sure.
I don't good because they're two terrible teams facing.
I don't know what it is, but one of our divisional teams, it's either the Cowboys or the Giants. We played both of the games against them the last 3 weeks of the season or something like that. It's stupid. We do this every year.
Every single year. That's always.
All right, whatever. Guess who's going last or going first? Finishing last. No, the Cowboys? Eagles. They deserved it. They finished last year. They deserve to be at the bottom. No. Eagles, they deserve to be at the bottom.
That's fair.
In a way, it's almost a lot of the toxicity is gone. We got rid of Wentz, and I'm not going to be ripping him too much till the Colts section, but that'll be coming. But he fucking sucked last year. Let's not act like he didn't. There's really no way around that. He was about as bad as you could possibly be, maybe even worse. And I don't want to hear anyone say otherwise. And if you do, you weren't watching. But unfortunately, joining him in that awful was Doug Peterson, who suddenly went from this cool, innovative mind to probable 14-year-old calling plays on Madden. Because honestly, I swear to God, I saw maybe 9 to 10 drives last year that seemed like they had any sort of purpose or flow. Anything else that generated points was seemingly on accident. And I'm pretty sure they were calling plays using like a dartboard or a dog and some biscuits or some shit like that because it was bad. But we still got Howie Roseman, and for all you non-Eagles fans, he's the GM and the guy that's like kind of in control of everything. And we still have our owner, who's enabling of aforementioned GM, and occasional meddling in this team have not been helpful at all. So, despite the fact that our franchise actually has a pretty like decent track record of winning, excluding Super Bowls, I'm not sure if we really solved anything getting rid of Wentz, Doug. I feel like the real problem is probably still in place. And the answer is definitely yes. Because like I said, this is the NFC East, and the problems don't just stop at the teams. They flow all the way up the organizational chart from management to fucking ownership. The parking lots suck. The guys selling beer are probably rude. Like it's the vendors. Everyone's a jerk. It's probably not good. Actually, now I say that, the Washington vendors are definitely a jerk because if I remember correctly, Dan doesn't pay them. We'll get into that. All right, your coach. Not really even sure yet. Nick Sirianni might be a real person capable of like making his own decisions, or he might be a Mike McCarthy. And I mean, I hope for the former, but I'm definitely prepared for the latter. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm not buying any of it till it happens. Quarterback is like almost the same situation. I'm too lazy to check this, but Jalen Hurts has got to be the youngest stopgag in the league. I mean, he's very likely just going to be here for a season while we go star hunting. And like, because he's so young, like if he performs, he could stick around. But I don't know, man. His arm made Bree's arm look good last year, and that's not good. So, you know, he says the right things, he does all the right things, but boy, is that not going to matter if the results don't come. And, I don't know, man. Looking questionable. Offseason, got rid of this guy.
Lead rusher, Kevin, just gets upfield normally.
Drops back here. Wentz just lost it. Wow. Miles Sanders was wide open.
And they could not have asked for anything better, Kevin. Everything worked well for Philadelphia except the throw. Because watch him go back here, and when he circles out, he's in the vacated area that Shaquem Griffin left. Look at all that open space, and the ball gets airmailed. Last week against New England, the winds were really blustery. I don't think it's quite as bad here. That's just a missed throw.
Indy, have fun with that. Good luck. Thanks for the draft picks. We will treasure them. We'll probably waste them, but I appreciate the thought. And, yeah, I mean, that was about it. Because, you know, we don't have any money. Because Howie's been spending all the money trying to keep our 4-12 team together, because that's obviously the roster that you want to lock into place, the one that goes 4-12. But in the draft, we managed to get my man Devontae Smith, scooping him from the Giants, raising sodium levels in New York to a dangerously high point. Again, we'll get to that. And I promise you that for one time, and for only this time, because it will never happen again, we actually drafted a very good receiver. Telling you, book it, mark it, write it down, write it on a post-it note, staple it to your eyeballs. I promise you it's happening. The rest of the draft, I think it's pretty solid, but you don't care, unless, especially if you were hoping for Gainwell to Miami. You definitely don't care. You're probably pissed off. And I'm probably just suffering from Stockholm syndrome anyway, so all of these guys are probably already busts. Moving on, predictions. I will give them a floor of 4-13 and a ceiling of 9-8. Apparently, some of you might disagree with me, but I don't give a shit. Let's prove it. They were bad last year, so they get a bad floor this year. And you know what? I actually like the position we're in, because if we're bad, cool. We're bad, I get a good pick. And if we're not bad, cool. That's exciting. That's fun to watch as a fan. And I mean, too many years of this just makes you the Browns. But given the way Philadelphia sports have been lately, outside of that Super Bowl, everything's been crushing disappointment. I'm okay with the season where we're expected to suck. So I'm accepting it. Go Birds. Even if our organization is honestly just a cheap, reskinned budget version of the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's going to be a sad but exciting season, I predict.
Can't be sad. There's nothing to be
It'll
sad.
definitely be exciting.
I mean,
Something's got to be exciting.
yeah.
It won't be lackluster.
I feel like I would say
Could be
majority of Eagles fans don't have high hopes. So I guess not too.
I think
I
there's
think
going to be
best
a lot of
case
things
scenario,
that happen. A lot of
a lot-
things
if-
that grab eyes.
if the lines all stay healthy and there's actual coaching upgrade, I guess they could beat my ceiling, but that's too optimistic of thinking for me right now.
We were PFF.com ranked the Eagles 19th in offensive line last season, so that was without Andre Dillard
I saw they were
and
ranked.
Brandon Brooks. So that's not awful, and we had more injuries than just that.
When I was looking at
That
the
was
ESPN data for like pressure rate, like win rate and shit like that, we were a lot better. Honestly, I
Yeah.
trust that over PFF because the ESPN data is at least pretty straightforward. Like either you won your matchup or you lost it, whereas PFF has their own grading mechanisms that they're not allowed to tell me about. So like, yeah, that's cool. You get an F, but I can't tell you why. Oh, beautiful.
But it's going to be exciting. I guess we should just start off with Jalen Hurts, Joe Flacco, and company.
Dude,
Why?
that's something
Why
we should have
Joe
made fun of,
Flacco?
actually.
Now-
I guess I got a little caught up on other stuff. Why we gave him a raise from last year is, like I said, the problem is still in place. So that's why Joe Flacco got a raise.
He aired it out last season. Yeah, but no, in all seriousness, Jalen Hurts, what do you guys expect from him?
Fantasy-wise,
Yeah. Fantasy-wise, not football-wise.
middle of
You
the
can
pack.
answer that after. Like average, like middle quarterback 2.
Slightly above average.
I think he has a tier 3. If you guys been doing mock drafts and stuff, I think you understand the tiers and how they work. You know, the Kylers and whatnot up top. Then you have like the Russell Wilson and Herbert area.
You
I think he
consider
has a
Dak in that?
ceiling of I think he has a ceiling of the 3rd tier, which I think includes like Burrow, players like in that range. I don't think he's going to be a top. Yeah,
I would
Stafford,
say
that
he has a
division.
tier 2 ceiling, but I don't think it's likely.
I'd have to agree. I mean, from his stats from last year, he did provide some type of running capabilities, but like, I
I think
mean,
it's going to depend on how good our coaching is because he was really good at some things and really bad at other things.
like really, we had like 4 or I would say like 3 game sample size, and 1 week he really blew up, and the other 2 weeks he was 18 points. So like, and that's not bad, but it's not like
That's consistent in a
winning a
sense.
league. And then the last game against Washington, he had 17 points, but he only had 7 completions. Like,
That's what the rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, there's an
do for you.
unknown with him, but I don't know. That's something I would prefer to go elsewhere because he's getting drafted somewhat high. Like,
I wouldn't be against having him as my quarterback, especially since you could get him after the Burrows and people like that. So I mean, it's kind of like mid-late quarterback range you would get him. So I mean, like, it's neat to have something like that. But I mean, there's also risk. Let's talk about the risk of him not even being the Eagles starter, being the Texans starter.
oh,
Anybody want to entertain that idea?
I mean,
no.
at least if he was a Texans starter, he'd basically be in the same spot he is here.
Yeah.
No, they have no weapon. They have Brandon Cooks.
Who do we have? Outside of Devontae Smith, our wide receiver 2 is Jalen Reagor.
In the slot could be very beneficial.
I think it
Compared
could be
to
too, but come on
PPP.
now. Like you're looking at could be. That's what the Texans are looking at. Could be.
I mean, is the Texans line anything special either?
Probably not. I mean, our line's probably better than him. I would agree that the Texans lower his ceiling, but also like that would imply a Deshaun Watson resolution.
I mean, supposedly, Ian Rappaport and them have high expectations of him playing this year. So I mean, they're insiders. They have the connection.
I'm playing for like someone else because I don't think he's going back.
Oh no, they said he's definitely not going back there, but there is a good chance that he plays this year.
Really?
Hey man, if that
I haven't kept up with it. I kind of
shit
been
gets resolved,
letting that alone.
Yeah, I've been peeping it here and there, but still. Anyway, let's get back to Jalen Hurts, huh? Jalen Hurts.
with the Eagles.
With the Birds, of course. Come on now. All right, so you said it yourself, Alex. Stopgap quarterback, and I would agree. I would agree with that.
Too.
Whether that was sarcastic or not.
I think that's where it's trending. Until he proves otherwise.
Yeah, I got in this Twitter engagement earlier, not an actual engagement. I didn't go on my knee or anything, but somebody brought up the idea of, the Eagles and Deshaun Watson, yada, 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 that whole trade happening. And then, what's his name? Jalen Hurts going over to Houston, them having those draft picks as well, and then deciding to draft the quarterback, right? So that's one scenario. Another scenario is he stays here. He plays good. We still have, 2 first-round picks next year, if not 3? Might be tweaking on that number.
2 at minimum.
Yeah.
So 2, if not 3 draft picks. If we fall in love with the quarterback, why the hell would we not take a quarterback, So it's like the chances of him actually lasting past this year, I would say slimmer than him.
I will say I think it's a good chance that even if he leaves here, as long as he plays at least semi-decent, I think he could very well end up as a starter next year.
Somewhere.
Even if
I would agree
in the
somewhere.
same type of we'll just see what's going on here.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, you got Pittsburgh. You got a bunch of teams out there that don't need a quarterback probably, but I don't know. The uncertainty of him actually staying with the team that he is on or the team that he would possibly go to within the year, uncertain.
Not ideal.
And the talent isn't completely there, so who really knows,
Yeah.
So,
what about running back? Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell?
I like Sanders a decent amount.
I've actually just
both.
Recently just kind of grew to kind of like Sanders.
Same.
Just the offensive line getting healthy, hopefully getting healthy.
My biggest fear with Sanders is that we have an ownership mandated don't run the ball. So hence why I say I don't know if Nick Sirianni is allowed to call plays or not.
With Hurts, I feel like it opens up some opportunity because if they do it right,
touchdowns.
Well, I feel like it's more unpredictable to react when you have a rushing quarterback.
Maybe from a defensive
like
perspective, but to me, it
is...
hurts the running back in a sense because any touchdown that Hurts gets could have ended up with Sanders. And I mean, even if that, I get what you're saying from an on-field perspective, but I don't know how much that applies to fantasy.
But for Sanders, he's more of a big play potential guy. He's not really a red zone guy. So I feel like that.
I think he's more of a big play guy just because we don't use him as. They just they refused to give him carries last year.
Well, I think with the quarterback kind of drawing attention elsewhere, I think that big play potential kind of gets heightened some.
Increases,
so,
I agree.
Yeah, and red zone wise, he never really was a red zone dude. So not really. Dallas Goedert's gonna get that. I don't even know what our red zone threat is. And that's probably why we.
Depends if Sanders.
Good.
I mean, I like Sanders to an extent. But like I said, I'm afraid they're not going to be allowed to run the ball. I'm also afraid that after last year when he showed the complete inability to catch anything at all, that Gainwell is probably going to come in and steal that very quickly. Yeah. And if he doesn't, I'm going to be very disappointed in our selection of him because Boston Scott is not good.
I would say that Sanders is going to be pretty volatile just because, like you said, the big playability. But I do like him still. I mean, running back too. I mean, I don't even know what round would he even be going in. I completely forget.
He's definitely have him second, early third, probably.
I'm just gonna check it. Just
lower. Yeah. I don't know. He's got to be going in RB2 range.
Yeah. He's going
mid to late RB2.
Round 4th after Josh Jacobs, before Kareem Hunt. That's the closest running back.
That's kind of crazy. I think Josh Jacobs and Miles Sanders, I don't know who I'd go in that situation because I feel like Raiders got an awful offensive line, but I just feel like they use him so much. I'm not scared off by Kenyon Drake personally. But then again, we don't use Sanders quite effectively, but we got a new coaching scheme, so it's
But
use them
if
correctly.
Laurie is the one calling the shots,
Exactly.
then it doesn't matter if we hire the new coach. That's my never-ending.
definitely
22 isn't a
risk.
bad value.
There's definitely risk, but with the 4th round running back with the potential to, I think he's got the potential to be a running back 1, like back end running back 1. It's not a bad
I definitely
risk
think he has
reward.
potential, but honestly, I'd rather go receiver at that spot. I think the upside's higher.
Yeah. If you go 0 running back first few rounds, I think Sanders and I don't know, Jacobs on the turn. I don't know exactly, but I feel like that would be solid with like Ridley, Hill. Not too bad.
So I don't know if Gainwell will have a lot of usage this season, but I think he's a neat little dynasty stash.
Yeah.
Or
No, I
just
don't
add.
mind Gainwell at all.
I think he should have some touches this season, but
Brandon, you said you didn't like Gainwell at all? Is that what you said?
Oh no, I said I don't mind him at all.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was confused.
It's not someone I'm targeting, but if he's around, I would probably swipe him up.
Swipe him up.
Swipe him up.
last year's Sanders contract is like, I believe, this season or next season.
But it's Miles
It's next
Sanders,
season.
bro.
Next season. Next season is his last season under contract. So if he doesn't shine and Gainwell does well.
And he lost his man in Deuce Staley, too, so could be hurtful. Could be hurtful.
What about the receivers? I
Devontae
feel like we've kind of touched on them just slightly. Just talked about like Rager's upside for
Devontae
the slot position if he plays there.
Devontae Smith. All right, let me put it this: if Watson was cleared and they brought in Watson, Devontae's going to be a low end wide receiver 1.
I could believe that.
He has that possibility. I would probably say, yeah.
With Watson, sure.
I don't think
quarterback
without Watson he
with
has that possibility.
No, not with Hurts.
I think the possibility exists, but only because Nick Sirianni has shown in his offense that he just kind of like, at least in Indy, what they like really peppered receivers with targets. So like if my man got 15 targets a game, I think it's a possibility.
Quality targets.
Well, I mean that's the
big
that's
thing,
the issue.
So
yeah, that's the question mark in that scenario.
I think without Watson or without a solid quarterback, I think you're looking at ceiling of like, I'd like to say like a high-end wide receiver 3, to be honest.
Whoa!
That's a ceiling of a high? I don't know about that.
Spicy. I like it. I would say that's like his realistic finish, probably. I'd probably say mid wide receiver 2 would be ceiling.
Like 24 receivers. I feel like there's 24 receivers in better situations.
There could be, but still.
Not about situation, man. I'm taking the talent.
He opened the book and he stated his facts. So.
I don't care about situation, man. It's talent. Either you're good or you're not.
So like,
Brandon is
got like Julio Jones, Brandon Ayuk, Kenny Galladay, DJ Chark.
What?
Right, you're naming a lot of guys
Anderson.
that are not locks to play like half the season next year.
So like Tyler Lockett. Let's see where he ended up last season.
I don't even know.
11? Oh yeah, 11. He was 11th last season, which is kind of shocking. If that's right, I hardly trust Sleeper anymore with those stats.
Yeah.
But no, Lockett's at like wide receiver like 28, and he's been wide receiver 11 before. I mean, he's probably going to be better than DJ Chark. I would say that's a guarantee. Not going to be better than Julio. I think Julio is going to have a good year if he's healthy. But aside from that, I think it's within his likelihood that with the quarterback we have now, I can see him being a high-end wide receiver 3. Maybe not ceiling, but I think that's probably I think that's where he's going to end up. Ceiling could be, I'd say, maybe, I don't know, middle of the pack wide receiver 2, high end.
I'm definitely going to be
receiver
excited to
too.
find out because it's the first time in a while I've had real confidence is going to be good and not just like, oh, God, I hope this guy doesn't suck.
I think he's going to be good. I think we're definitely going to see flashes, but
He'll be fucking good. We're not going to see flash. We're going to see shit right off the start.
you know what?
I'm telling you, man.
I'm
This is
gonna
my
look-
rule now. If you do not dominate SEC football if you're not a good player. And that
Brandon
man's going to be
Ayuk
good.
was wide receiver 33, and he
Yeah,
had
it's because he missed time.
great season.
Didn't
Season.
come
T.
out
Higgins was
at the
wide
start.
receiver 28, and he had a solid season. What other rookie can I point out? C.D. Lamb, let's
Yeah,
find
but what other of those guys would have came
Wide
in as the
receiver
undisputed
20.
number 1 on the depth chart?
Brennan,
let me
you
think
are
about
also not taking into account the ceilings. You're saying the ceiling, but you're really just meaning realistic finish. I like the realistic
yeah,
finish. of
I
Devontae
clarified
Smith,
that.
wide receiver
Guys,
3.
we're talking about a guy
Yeah.
that
His ceiling is
like I just said, if he
middle of the pack wide
think
receiver
about it,
2.
you just listed
My
Higgins. Think
opinion.
about that. Higgins had to come in and not be on the field all the time at first because they were
worked his way
giving
there.
AJ Green and Tyler Boyd 20 targets a game. You know, I mean, Devontae Smith has got he's the number 1. Jalen Reagor is looking up at him on the depth chart now. Like the moment they drafted him, he was the alpha, and he's not even here yet.
But with T. Higgins, he was on a pass-heavy offense. They threw it like you guys were saying
and
just
I'm
the other week.
Just
like
saying that he didn't get
20,
I
50
think
passes a game.
Smith has the potential, has the opportunity to get more work than that. Like I was just saying, Sirianni. Well, I know we're going to pass. If we're a Jeffrey Lurie-owned team, we are going to be passing the ball. And Sirianni likes to, really get those targets up for his receivers. So I think that could be a good combination for Smith and Reagor to an extent. I'm not calling Reagor a wide receiver anything, but I think there's upside there in the slot.
I'd
Whether
like
we
to
find
see
it
him.
or not.
I'd like to see him play out. The skill on the offense, I don't think it's there yet, and I think it's going to be another year. I think next season we could be talking about him as, wide receiver, low-end wide receiver, or high-end wide receiver 2 next season maybe, depending on our status at quarterback.
What was I going to say? He went wide receiver 28 in our mock draft that we did, which was, I would say, probably a little too high. There's players, Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Jerry Jeudy after him, that I would likely take all of them over him. So if I
I'm
would
sure
put him
there's not 27 guys in front of him that I would have liked over those next names that you just listed.
well, regardless if we were going
A lot of good
ADP based,
receivers.
if we were to have Claypool, Deontay, and Jeudy, who are really close behind, if we were to swap him with those 3, it's wide receiver 31. I like that ADP. But if he keeps on climbing and he gets up a little bit more than 28, not a big fan.
Yeah.
That's my because I think
Is that just for redraft?
Yeah, and I think at 30, that's a good value.
I think
like
that's fair.
Yeah, it is fair.
Too much higher than that is means too much unnecessary speculation.
Yeah, too much risk, I would say, especially if he gets up to say 25. I'm not touching that. I can't, just because the chances of him being realistically finished at wide receiver 3. What was that?
Yeah, it was tight end. That's tight end.
Oh, you see, Zach Ertz might stay.
Oh, you see the headache though.
That's incredibly annoying.
I
like Ertz, but I feel like it's his time to go play elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm not taking Zach Ertz. I am taking Dallas Goedert.
Not if Zach Ertz is still there, man. That limits both their ceilings.
What? I think we realize his time is done for.
Bro, but if Ertz comes back, Goddard is the much better blocker. So either they're not going to play Ertz or Ertz is going to get more receiving work because Goddard's
I don't believe in that. Blocker. I think Goddard's he's shown he's a great pass catcher. He can pass block, but Zach Ertz is
one of the best pass blocking tight ends in the league.
I believe it.
And that kind of hurts him if they bring back another pass catching tight end and they plan on playing him.
Yeah.
Bing, bing, bing.
I mean, Hakeem Butler's there to step in whenever.
Oh,
no. So.
Oh, God. All right. I think that's it.
All right. First choice Eagles. time to move on to the next team
How long did that take?
as we spoke for
All
the Eagles for a half hour.
to the Giants.
Facts.
That was a given.
On brand.
All right, we'll get through this faster.
Yeah.
The Giants. Things are really looking up over New York, aren't they?
No.
Just kidding. No, they're not. They are absolutely not. So I obviously have to start with the end of last season, where every member of the Giants, whether it's fan, player, coach, was just up in arms over the absolute travesty that was the Eagles benching Jalen Hurts in a game that meant absolutely nothing to them, a game that actively harmed them if they won. But yeah, what a horrible, disgraceful move to sit the guy to see another guy when it doesn't matter at all. You know, it would have been a bigger travesty, the 6-10 Giants hosting a freaking playoff game. If you want to make the playoffs go better than 6-10, I don't care. I mean, they started out 2-7 last year. You want to know the only team to ever make the playoffs after starting 2-7? Washington, from last season. It's a disgrace. And you motherfuckers have the nerve to like complain about that as if it's someone else's fault that your 6-10 team didn't make the playoffs. In any other division, a team that entered the week 17 5-10 had no hope whatsoever of making the playoffs. They were rooting for a loss. They were already looking to the draft. And yet you people feel entitled to have made the play. No, oh my God. Like, Jesus, have some self-respect, man. You went 6-10. Try not going 6-10. Then you can complain about making the playoffs. Go 10-6 and miss the cut because your division's good, and then you can complain about missing the playoffs. 10-7, call it, but that's not happening in this division, and you guys aren't going 10-7.
No, they are.
On to your coach, straight out of the New England factory, this douchebag. That phony tough guy bullshit all went out the window when you threw a fit over the end of the season. Seriously, what happened to your lunch pail, hard-nosed, tough guy? Garbage. Get out of here. And then you're going to whine about that? Dude, again, you went 6-10. 6-10. That's very bad. That's not a playoff record. Also, good luck with this guy, your quarterback. Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones.
Brooklyn.
You want to see my favorite thing ever? You guys won't see it, but they'll see it. This.
Takes off and he is gone. Trying to stay upright and he trips.
Ed already knows what it is. It's Daniel Jones falling down the win probability chart. I really hope I'm able to get that into the video, but I have faith. 30-year breakout, guy. Did you hear he's faster than Lamar Jackson? Someone please explain to me why I should be using Twitter again. Like, to have to read shit like that? It is absolutely not worth it. That made me so mad, and for no reason whatsoever. It's like, I might as well just keep a nail just lying around my floor that I step on every now and then for fun. Like, oh, God, that sucked. That was a huge waste of my time. But, boy, I want to come back to it. I don't. Also, Daniel Jones is bad. So, the offseason. How'd the offseason go? Well, we started out by making a splash move with Kenny Golladay, and naturally, Gettleman was bidding against himself the whole time because, Dave gonna Gettleman. I see two sides to this. There's the people that say Golladay is great going deep, and that Daniel Jones throws a great deep ball, so they're a perfect match. Now, the other side to it is that Daniel Jones does not throw the ball very well anywhere, and that Golladay doesn't create a lot of separation. So that's not necessarily going to work so well. You shouldn't have to ask me which side of that I'm on. Also, in offseason, they franchise tagged Leonard Williams, so this saga just keeps going on. They cut the best lineman of their already awful offensive line, which is an extremely bold strategy, and they signed Adoree Jackson to a deal worth $13 million per year with a ton of guaranteed money over the next 3 years, when instead of doing that, they could have just sent the Titans like a conditional 7th-round pick to have him on a 1-year, $10 million contract before they cut him, with a lot less guaranteed money and no future risk. What did they do? Obviously not that, because that would make sense. And no, we don't do that in New York. Anyway, the draft. We already covered this, but I have to show something from it.
Yeah! No! No! God, I hate this fucking team. I was warming up to the idea of Devontae Smith, like, ooh, this is going to be great, a Heisman player, and he ends up on the Eagles. Thanks to the Cowboys. Ah! Them. You hear me? The Eagles.
I know you guys can't see it, but I love that guy. Best guy ever. You guys are going to have to watch it. Unfortunately, after this, Gettleman actually did the smart thing and moved back a little bit to get a first for next year. You could argue the smart move would have actually been to take Justin Fields, given that quarterback sucks. But come on now, it's Gettleman. Asking him to make a proactive decision is like asking Matt Dodge to punt it out of bounds. Fortunately, the Giants turned around and they took Kadarius Toney with one of those firsts. And okay, thanks, I guess. Once again, I wish you good luck with that. And the rest of the draft doesn't matter. So just going to ignore
Tony's
that.
on the COVID list right now, and he missed most of training camp because of his shoe ripping.
What?
Yeah,
You
didn't
ripped
hear
your
about
shoe?
that one.
What, he's just going to the shoe place?
Good luck. Good luck, Giants. Hey, at least you got one first-round pick out of that deal now.
Yeah.
Prediction time. Floor of 5-12, ceiling of 9-8. I'm putting them ahead of the Eagles because they finished there last year, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. I don't really think either team's going to be good. Not seeing any quarterback breakout. The offensive line is very bad, and that defense could be solid, but it ain't taking them to the playoffs.
I'm shocked they didn't go quarterback because it's not like they're they're making this team like they're trying to win now, but it's like you're not going to win now. Like there's no way.
Jones isn't even taking you past the first round of playoffs if you make it.
Like you're not going to win now. Why? Like honestly, wouldn't have even signed Galladay. Would have just drafted Justin Fields and moved on from there. Like. Yeah, like make a trade Daniel fumbling Jones away, get yourself some type of asset like Sam Darnold got the Jets, and do something. Like not they're like trucking along. Like, oh, we got this.
What do you think they would have gotten for Jones?
I don't even know. Maybe
second,
like
a third,
a second, maybe an early third.
Would he get more or less than Darnold?
A tad less, I would say.
That is my gut reaction.
Like, honestly, I don't see why the Giants couldn't have done a package for Deshaun Watson. I feel like they've got the pieces. They could have traded
Probably
their
because
pick.
nobody is trading.
They could have
Watson
taken
right
their
now.
pick, Daniel Jones, and maybe Shepard.
3 more
I
picks.
feel like that. Well, yeah, more than that, but that's a basis. That's something to start with.
Watson's not getting traded right now.
But bottom
Low-key,
line
he's doing
is Saquon Barkley's back, and they're probably going to be a little bit better. But I mean, how much does that actually do? And he's starting the year on the PUP list, or the training camp on the PUP list. So there's that too.
Also, like, he's also a running back.
Yeah.
And he's a very good running back. But like,
running backs don't say it. Say gosh, running backs don't.
They're not really influencing the game all that much.
It don't matter. It just don't matter.
So, but for fantasy wise, it's Saquon Barkley. He's fallen in drafts. What do you guys think about him getting drafted? Like, he's like getting drafted like 5 spot, even later, some drafts.
In our most recent mock, which was the 8th of July, granted, Saquon went 3rd to me.
Okay.
But in best ball drafts, as we all experience, he has been going like 5 through 8.
Yeah.
I've experienced him go to 8.
So,
depending on who's on the board, I'm generally okay taking that risk.
I'm all right with it because like
Fine by me.
he hasn't had the rookie season he had to start, but like that's Saquon. He's got it. So
I have some PTSD flashbacks to week 1 of last year when It was against the Steelers, opening week. You know what I'm saying? Hype around the building. Okay.
I remember this.
He gets negative yardage going into halftime, right? And then there was a bet. I bet, obviously, first choice betting. It will be here soon, be shortly. They put an odds boost, right, on Saquon
like 7
just
yards.
to have it was 10 rushing
10
yards
yards.
total by the end of the game. 10 rushing yards, right?
Couldn't do it.
Nope, he got to 7. He got to 7 rushing yards, something like that. Maybe it was 9. If it was 9, I would be even more angry. But I bet, all my money that was in my account on that. And I was, of course, why not? It's 10 yards. Yeah, didn't do it. So
I would've
at
done
that
that.
moment, I was kind of like, Saquon is no longer Saquon.
Saquon,
yeah. And then the next week, you guys know what happens. So I don't know. I would probably take somebody like a Jonathan Taylor over Saquon. I don't know if that's bold or not.
I would take Taylor over Saquon.
You guys going? What do you got? Where are you guys going? You guys going? CMC obviously. Then you got Derrick Henry. I'd obviously take him over
Dalvin Cook,
Dalvin
Kamara, Jonathan Taylor.
Would you go Chubb?
No, Saquon.
So it's just running back 6.
Yeah.
And
but he's got the possibility of finishing as the running back 1. So those top 6, even you can even argue like top 7 guys are kind of pretty close.
I just looked at the the mock, and I was looking at the running backs going in the first round, and then I got to your pick, and I was like, shoot. Rest in peace, by the way, to Cam Akers. His knee? What was it? ACL?
Achilles.
Achilles.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Bummer.
Anyway.
Yeah, Daniel Jones. I'm not taking him completely.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm hoping I have enough time to just clip out Daniel Jones tripping. I'm just going to have him tripping along the screen like during this whole segment. If I've got the time, I plan on just having him just tripping right in between, right down the middle of the screen. But, yeah, Daniel Jones, hopefully he's accompanying us right now. If not, just picture it. You can picture it.
They've already seen him.
You know the feeling when you were in, like, elementary school, when you're running a kick return back or something, flag football, and you're running a little bit too fast. What?
You think we would have made it this far with that video having already been played? They've already seen this. And hopefully it's not going to get taken down for me stealing the NFL's content.
So, Sorry,
NFL.
Ever, because it has happened to me. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but then again, I'm not a professional NFL athlete. So, and I was probably like very young, like 10 years old tops. But it has happened to me where I've ran so fast where I've stumbled or even fell over. But I'm a fucking child, so I'm sorry, Daniel Jones, but come on. Like,
grow up, Daniel Jones.
Your entire team was even laughing at you. Like, dude.
It was a bad pick.
And you got that. Didn't that, like, cost them the game? Because they should have had a touchdown there, and they would have beat us. That was us.
Yes.
And then the Giants nation decided to complain about the Eagles tanking, but they lost because your quarterback couldn't stay on his feet to get a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, that is another variable. Had he just not fallen over, they win the division.
You guys would have been in the playoffs.
Everything else follows suit. So,
how about instead of blaming us for getting a better draft pick, which was, in my opinion, I was thrilled about it. I don't give a fuck what people are saying. I remember seeing, like, notifications, like, trashing us. Like, oh, they're clearly tanking. I'm like, damn straight. Like,
yes.
what the fuck?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Teams tank.
That's what we're going for. Like, oh my god. Anyway, wide receivers: Kenny Galladay, Darius Slayton, Kadarius Toney, Shepard.
This wide receiver room is such just a cluster to me that I've just avoided entirely.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't even say I've gone out with that mission to avoid it entirely. This is just what has happened over the offseason to this far. I think Shepard has talent, but he's never healthy. I do not know what's going on with Darius Slayton. Galladay scares me, and I don't think Tony's good. So, sorry, I'm out.
Yeah, it's a weird.
And count me out on Evan Ingram as well for like all of those
Same.
concerns piled into one person.
Yeah. I can see Ingram getting traded, and
That'd probably be good.
But
him.
the only time I taken Kadarius Toney was, I think, like at the end of our mock draft, maybe. Basically in situations where it was kind of just for fun. And then we did a 16-team dynasty. Was it? Yeah, it was a dynasty draft. I drafted him like so late, so like it's 16 teams, and I was just like, if he is actually something, I don't know, I guess. But yeah, that's the only time I even like thought about it. Other than that, like best ball, redraft, like no.
I wish everyone else luck that does dig.
So I think that pretty much caps off the Giants. Sorry, Giants. This isn't first choice Giants. It's mainly first choice Eagles because that's been the whole podcast so far. Even the conversations about the Giants, we ran the Eagles in there somehow. But it's easy to do because the Giants. When was the last time the Giants beat the Eagles?
Last year, the last game we played.
Okay. After that, wasn't it like a very long time?
Yes, before that it had been a very long time.
It was a few years, I think. But
hell, maybe it'll be a very long time after next season.
Yeah, that would be great.
Fortunately, their defense is good and our offense might be bad.
But even more of a reason why they should have just said "fuck you, Daniel" and taken Justin Fields, because potential of Justin Fields, even his floor, better than Daniel Jones. Like, come on.
They didn't. So.
All right, Alex, take it away with your next team.
The Giants. It's taking too long. The Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. America's team, my ass. Unless you're saying that America is a terribly run train wreck of an organization living off of old glory.
That actually fits. So.
Anyway, fuck the Cowboys. Honestly, I should just put that on a loop and just have that play over this whole segment. Congratulations for Jerry Jones. It really sucks having to hear about this man every single year, but I know it's worth it because I know that any team that he's driving is going directly into the pavement. Like rain falling out of the sky, just destined to hit the ground. That's Jerry. Say goodbye to those Super Bowls because they are long in the past. You know how many I've seen? 0. None. 2 playoff wins. 20 years. Or is it 3 now? Because if you're going to come in here and correct me and tell me that it's 3, that's depressing and you should think about that. Oh, your coach. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That was a puppet. Mike McCarthy might actually be the coach of the Cowboys for right now, but I can promise you he will not be for very long. So, don't buy your McCarthy gear because he's gone. I was going to make a puppet joke about Sirianni earlier, but I realized I wanted to make it about Mike McCarthy instead. So I just called him Mike McCarthy. Now you see now that I'm saying he's a puppet. So we have learned stuff today. Congratulations. Your quarterback, Dak Prescott, coming off the injury, should be poised for a pretty big year, especially with those receivers, and more importantly, with that defense, which only added linebackers to it. This is 2021. This is not 1984. Bet you wish you got that contract done a few years ago, huh, Dallas? Right, Stephen Jones or Jerry Jones? Because everyone knows that anything Stephen Jones says comes right out of Jerry's ass and into his head and then back out his mouth in some disturbing cycle that children shouldn't be allowed to know about. Could have got that a lot cheaper had you done it like a year or 2 ago, but no, we had to re-sign Elliott and Cooper and Lawrence and anyone else. Smart, very smart, great thinking. You always want to lock up your highest priority players last so that they cost more money and that you piss them off more. Just everyone knows this. Just a thing that happens. If you look at Patrick Mahomes. Wait. That's the difference there of a good run team and a not very good run team. Offseason, I'm going to start things out backwards with the draft. because I don't care about the guys. Like I said, they took a lot of linebackers. That's all that's important, and some cornerbacks. But I just want to point out that in typical Dallas fashion, they just had to rack up as many character concerns as they could find. It's like they're just shopping for these. It's at the top of the lists and their Amazon recommendations. I do not understand it. I'm not going into detail. Look it up yourself if you want. Some of it's pretty freaking disturbing. All I know is that when Micah Parsons was asked about his share, he sounded like someone that really didn't give a shit about it, that really didn't want to talk about it, that just kind of wanted to act like it didn't exist. So that's good luck, man. I'm sure that bodes well for the future. Great. More linebackers. We'll just trot out 7 of them at one time. Cowboys going to cowboy, I guess. Stay classy. As for all of the non-Prescott extension moves, surprise, there were none. I mean, there were, but that shit doesn't matter. Your most important one was probably like Keanu Neal, who plays linebacker now. And as I've already stated like 15 times this video, that is literally all they have on defense is linebackers, along with Lawrence's contract and whatever the hell they think is going to attempt to play safety this year. I don't know. I would look forward to more receivers running around your field completely wide open. It's going to be happening a good bit. Prediction-wise, I'm going to give him a floor of 7-11 and a ceiling of 11-7. Don't ask me how I come to these numbers. Extremely secretive formula that I could never share. But offense good, defensive bad. We've seen this story before. This team ain't shit. I don't care if they go to the playoffs.
Respectfully, don't agree.
With what?
The defense being bad. I think it's average.
They're going to be good?
Average.
They are bad until proven otherwise. They could be average if the cornerbacks they drafted are both good, like, out the gate. Diggs is good.
Diggs is pretty good. So, I mean,
he had a solid rookie season.
And
they have no safeties.
I just hope that their defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, new guy, old guy, new guy? Oh, sorry, no.
Old and new.
Hope he can do something like he did.
All the retreads. I love it. Quinn and McCarthy.
Yeah.
Next year we can hire like Gus Bradley and Anthony Lynn.
What if Keanu Neal's a Cam Chancellor? Oh, I'm just gonna shut up now. All right.
Oh.
Again, Keanu Neal plays linebacker.
Cam Chancellor played safety, but
he was kind of like a linebacker, but they've got only linebackers over there. So
they got Kazee too. I don't know if you've known that.
I did see that. I don't care about that.
That's fair. All right. All righty. Well, let's get into the things that matter. This is fantasy football. So quarterback is going to be Daco.
Dak is back.
Second tier. We already talked about this.
Did we?
I don't think so.
Second
Dak's
tier.
in the second tier, respectably.
I mean, a lot of people actually disagree with that. I think I talked to Cam about it, and he said he sees him as like the top tier, like with Kyler and all that. And I was like,
oh, okay, that's fair.
Optimistic.
He's got the ceiling of that.
Could buy that. Either way, he's all right. We'll put him in the tier 1, tier 2 bubble.
Before he got hurt, he was on that. He was treading that direction, so it's definitely a fair observation.
They're also going to pass by world records type. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if their line is bad again, that's probably only helpful to his fantasy numbers.
Honestly, Dak Prescott, MVP for next season. I can see it. I can see it. Let's be honest.
So many
comeback player of the year. MVP, I'm out on that.
No, honestly, yes, I can see Dak being MVP. He's got the talent. He can run it. He can pass it great. He's just a passing machine. This whole team is just loaded at wide receiver position. So yeah.
Even outside of the top 3, they have Brandon Wilson. No, okay.
They have Blake
Brandon Smith.
300. Oh God, yeah, that's the name. 319-pound monster.
Oh, Brandon Smith. Yes. Yeah, as sleeper
on those drugs.
If everything Sleeper said was true, we'd be in a world of hurt. He's that free agent that's like gonna dominate the free agency pool. That quarterback.
Alex Torgerson or whatever.
Yeah, that dude's just not even on a team with 4,000 passing yards. Some shit
He
like
hasn't been on
that.
team
What?
like 4 years either. Sleeper's is crazy.
Yeah,
What it is.
but yeah. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, those two, I think they're pretty much in the same atmosphere, like as like ADP goes and whatnot, right? I think they're pretty close.
Check out. Check out.
I think-
I feel like Lamb would be higher if only for.
Yeah, they're right.
Roses.
Right. They're
CeeDee
back-to-back wide receivers. Fourth round.
Yeah, those two back to back. Redraft, I'd go Amari Cooper. Dynasty, I'd go Lamb, but wouldn't mind having Cooper.
Yeah, I think I'd go probably Cooper redraft if I had to choose. I don't want either of them, to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I'm just not with it.
MVP
Does
Dak.
not like the Cowboys.
I don't like MVP Dak. That's not the thing either. I think, I don't want Dak at all. I don't want any of the wide receivers in the Cowboys. I don't want Zeke, so I'm just like a hands-off in the Cowboys.
I absolutely
shocking
want
for
the
this.
receivers, but
Yeah,
I definitely don't want Zeke.
I don't want
hands-off
Zeke.
in the
I can understand
RB1
why
this year.
someone. I can understand why someone would want to get Zeke, just because he's done it before. But then again, running backs are running backs, and typically they fall off quick.
Is Zeke
Dak
an
has
RB1
already
this
shown.
year?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. This is the year.
Are we barring injury?
Hell, I said
There is no
Miles
barring injury.
Sanders.
That's part of the bet.
I said Miles
That's the
Sanders
risk you
had a
take.
ceiling of being running back one, so I have to say Zeke would have.
I'm not
that
talking ceiling. I mean,
opportunity.
obviously, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying straight
my
up. Do
vote
I
is
think
no.
if I
I'm going to say no.
if I'm
not this
just
year.
thinking
This
about
time
it,
has come.
I'd say no.
Yeah,
We got no's.
But it's
2
very
and 3.
close. I think
See,
he's
if he-
got the ceiling of being a
obviously.
mid running back one, if not higher. I don't know. I
Put it
think
out there,
of,
man. It's my bold claim of the year. It's
I
not
think
gonna
of
happen.
storylines, and I think like what's going through these players' minds after Dak Prescott absolutely destroyed his legs,
Shit.
his leg, his shin. I mean, let's be honest. If I'm a running back, you've got a short lifespan in the NFL. I'd lay back just like Zeke did. I mean, he ran like he was on vacation.
He ran like, come on, that's the reason? You think that's the reason?
Honestly, come on. I feel
No.
like that's a reasonable thing to say.
I do not.
Really?
Based on what evidence? You think Zeke just sat down and was like, well, I've had a lot of touches, man. I got to relax.
That team looked depleted for like 3 weeks after. Like they had
You're
no
coached by Mike
cow.
McCarthy.
Exactly. So what's Zeke going out there hype as shit for? Like, yeah, let's get this win.
I think you're overestimating the mental ability on a running
guess.
back.
Maybe, yeah.
Like his legs just aren't the same as they were anymore. He's taken way too much of a toll.
But
They have run that 4-man into the ground and then back out the other side and then back through the other side.
The first half of the year, this man was solid. Like he was running back one. And then Dak gets hurt, and it's a whole different story.
You see, this is the thing. I understand where you're coming from, but he was not looking good at all. Point blank period.
Yeah, I think it's just the
after
volume.
Dak got hurt. That's the thing. That's the
I don't
only
know what
thing.
he looked like before Dak got hurt. So I'm
He
not
was
gonna-
good. He was just the same.
But was he
as
good or
any
was
other
he
year.
volume?
Number-wise, yeah, he was good volume-wise and number-wise, if that makes sense. He had a touchdown for the first 3 games, and the 5th game against the Giants, he had 2 touchdowns. So, like, that was a lot. Speaking of which, actually, come on now. So, after Dak got hurt, what week did Dak get hurt? With the Browns or with the Giants? I feel like it was the Browns, no?
I thought it was the Giants.
Let me just check.
Pretty sure
It was the Giants.
It was the Giants. Okay, yeah, look at this. So this is my, I guess, argument, I would say, for him to be a running back one, which is, it's still not fair, but look, after the Giants game, he scored 2 touchdowns the rest of the season.
Yeah.
With Dak, he had, what was that?
4. He had 5.
6
5 touchdowns.
6 touchdowns.
Receiving touchdown?
Yeah, he had 1 receiving touchdown.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
So and obviously the offense is going to be humming with that compared to Ben DiNucci. So I mean, touchdown potential is obviously still there. So I mean, I guess
It's
running back
very
one is
likely
still
scenario.
realistic. Yeah, it is realistic.
I'm going no because I have to be the contrarian.
And
I can respect it.
I do respect it, yeah, because I debated on saying no, but
And I can get that. Like, I can get behind that, but I feel like I'd be a hypocrite to say that Miles Sanders has that opportunity to be running back one and then just turn around and be like, no way Ezekiel Elliott's going to be
I didn't say Sanders was going to, so I'm not standing.
I said he had the ceiling, but I would say if I'm saying that, then I should be on the side of Zeke being a running back one. Come on. All right. Come on. Wide receiver? Oh, we talked about that. Let's talk about Blake Jarwin.
What if we did?
I mean, we can. Where's he going? He's going.
Michael Gallup, useful or not?
Michael Gallup? Yeah, useful.
I vote useful.
big low. What's it called? What's a oof size? I'm gonna say. I don't know. Man. Of all the wide receivers, I feel like he has a Okay, whoa, calm down now.
Whoa.
It came out a little weird. I was gonna say
Go.
something
What's
about him being having the biggest boom possibility, but I'm just saying
he's blasting off.
The expectations for Michael Gallup are nothing compared to CeeDee Lamb and Cooper, obviously, respectively.
100%.
Yeah.
But he might have a few games where he outscores both of them. I'll say that.
Exactly. That's why I say he could be useful, because he's going to be cheap, and he's probably going to have at least a couple of games where he does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. But
it's just a matter of can you get that right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Or can you trade him to someone else after he does one of those?
Or can you just do best ball and just draft him?
Exactly. That's what I was attempting to say before I completely flabbergasted myself.
All right. This ends our Michael Gallup coverage. On to the tight ends. No one cares.
Dude, he's popping.
I think
he had a few weeks, 2 weeks, where he just blew up 22 points, 27 points. Oh, Gallup.
I know you're not talking about Blake Jarwin because that number was way too high.
Yeah, that was way too high.
Oh, we're talking Blake Jarwin now? Let me.
Like I just said, this has concluded First Choice Fantasy's coverage of Michael Gallup for this evening.
All right, Blake Jarwin is. Oh, he had 100% catch rate last season.
Oh, wait, can I go back to Michael Gallup? The only downside in best ball is the fact that he is going directly behind and looks as if Odell Beckham. So his expectations of best ball relatively high, given the fact that wide receivers that are remaining, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, Will Fuller, Curtis Samuel.
Oh, he's around them?
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah,
I'd go Laviska above all of them.
Yeah, so I guess people caught on in best ball, maybe? I don't know.
I was thinking he was going to be like, you're drafting him for like, I don't know.
Marquise Brown.
Yeah.
Over this man.
Yeah, I would take Fuller. I'd take Laviska. I'd take.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Let's talk about these football teams. Well, a football team.
Let's talk about the division winner.
I was going to say, I don't want to talk about Blake Jarwin.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm not really sure what there is to talk about. Same as last season, but now he's off of an ACL tear, so take that as you will.
Yeah, I mean, their tight end room will probably have a couple of useful weeks, but nothing you're going to write home to. Moving on. Washington. The Washington football team. I really don't care that they changed the name. I don't really get why people were so mad about. Some people were so mad about that. Who cares, man? Why does that affect you? But we still haven't found a name, Dan. Really? What the fuck is taking so long?
Next year, bro.
We're gonna get 2 years of this shit.
Don't enough pipe.
You just trying to milk the sales a little longer? Your merchandise, you greedy little worthless piece of shit. This is stupid. Why, the Washington football team? Hey, guys, what should we name our football team? Well, how about the football team?
You said it yourself.
If I was in that meeting room, I would have had that guy thrown out of a window. Yeah. This is why I hate this team. Not because of the players, because I actually like a lot of them, just because this entire team just stinks of Daniel Snyder. And I hope everything that he's involved with fails miserably. How he's allowed to still be in charge of an NFL team is a huge reminder of how things work in this country. I mean, he should probably be in jail for something, but he's not. He gets to do whatever he wants because he's got a lot of this. It's Dan Snyder. So fuck you, Dan Snyder. I hope bad things happen to you. Your coach, Riverboat Ron, one of the great stories in the NFL, whose great story is overshadowed by the worst owner in professional sports. Congratulations. Sorry for your luck. Your quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I like this pickup. Probably just for the season. Pretty cool. Next season, I don't know. That might be of interest, Washington. You should probably look into that. I know you got a lot figured out on that roster, but you're going to need one of those guys that throws the ball. That's pretty important. I'm sure you might have heard.
Heineke.
Taylor Heineke coming to the rescue. No,
Oh, yeah. He's elite.
not today.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well, the season, not today. The season. Anyway,
off-season, I guess it starts fantasy stuff. Curtis Samuel comes in, I guess, to play wide receiver too. So, I mean, that could be useful if it has a good deep ball, I suppose. Whatever. I signed Lamar Miller. That's pretty funny. I guess to like a futures contract with the practice squad or some shit, or like bottom of the roster. But still, that's pretty funny. He's still
I thought
around.
that was a while ago. Maybe they re-signed him, extended him.
All I know, it was on their transactions page. Also brought in Adam Humphries, who I could have swore was older than 28, but apparently not. Apparently just 28. That's neat. That's about it. They swapped some cornerbacks, but that's boring, so no one cares about that. In the draft, they brought in one of Brandon's sleepers in Diami Brown. Not very good foreshadowing for Diami, but again, we'll see about that. We'll get there. They got a linebacker. It's a pretty good story in the first round, whatever. But there is something more important that we need to address with the Washington football team.
Thank God you said it. Logan
And it is
Thomas.
that they drafted a long snapper in the 6th round.
Excellent.
A long snapper, a man who takes the ball on like PAT attempts or punts and snaps it back to the punter. A long snapper in the 6th round. Who does that, man? That's like me wiping my ass with a lottery ticket. Like, I get it's just a six, but come on, man. That's just stupid. Why would you do that? It's a long snapper. There's absolutely no chance that this man provides like surplus value to your team. You just throw a pick away. Disgusting. All right, predictions. Washington seems like pretty content to just be the Bears of last season. Like, I guess a slightly better defense and quarterback setup, but like that might win them a division, but not much else. So I'm giving them a floor of 7-10 and a ceiling of 12-5. But honestly, a lot of that is just because they get to play the NFC East, and I don't see them as a huge threat if I'm the Bucs or the Rams.
Rams. Indeed. All right. What was I going to say? How much of a lock would you say it is for the Washington football team to win the division over the Cowboys?
Not at all.
Very close?
I'm giving them the edge, but honestly, I think any team could win this division, and I would be surprised if it was the first two, but I wouldn't be like, oh boy, that's a real shocker. I mean, this is the NFC East we're talking here. If Washington goes like 5-12 and finishes worse in the division, I wouldn't be that surprised.
I see Washington and Cowboys. That's the.
I mean, I see, I obviously see Washington, Dallas, Giants, Eagles. Like,
you see them.
I do see them, but like all of these teams have proven to be train wrecks at times. So,
well, I see
matter of who crashes
a
last.
very similar season as last year for this whole division.
But with a different team coming out on top, right?
Probably because that's in the history books. That's forever sketched. I just want to say with the quarterback sitch, you know what I'm saying? Ryan Fitz, my man, has never made it to the playoffs. Is this going to be the first season in his, 16 years of experience?
No,
No,
really
you don't think this one? He has never made the playoffs.
NFC West is going to snap. I think
Facts on facts
three of
on
their
facts.
teams are going to make the playoffs. Yeah.
So Ryan
If I was
Fitzpatrick
betting, man,
making the playoffs.
I wouldn't bet on it because I think this division is too much of a just shit show.
Fair.
But I think they should be the favorite.
Are you drafting Ryan Fitzpatrick at all?
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a streaming option.
I drafted him in a best ball league where I have
Yeah.
Matt Stafford.
I drafted him to be my quarterback 3 because I like taking a lot of those skill positions personally. But yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think he'll have some very solid games just because the team built around him is really good, in my opinion. Especially Adam Humphrey. We need to talk about Humphrey. That's enough talking about Humphrey. Let's talk about Terry McLaurin. Do you think he's going to be a top?
You weren't even willing to talk about his whole name.
Huh?
Yeah.
You forgot 3 S's over the course of that conversation. The
What
course of
were
that
the
sentence.
I've
Adam
seen them all.
Humphries.
Oh, there's only one Humphrey. What are you talking about?
You
Terry
talking-
McLaurin's. What about him?
Only one Humphrey.
I
What
think
about
he's
him?
wide receiver 1.
He's good.
Hell yeah, bro. I think so too. Terry McLaurin is so freaking good. And with a competent a quarterback that can, do
I think he's a
anything more
likely
than
wide
what they had.
I mean, Devontae
He'll
Parker
be-
finishes a wide receiver 1 with Fitzpatrick. You know what I'm saying?
Huh? Did he actually?
Yeah. Yeah. He does.
No way.
Where?
I have
I'm pretty
to-
sure. I can. Let me.
What, 2 years ago, Parker? Not last season. There's no way in hell last season.
No, it was
last
Maybe
season.
2 years ago.
I think Parker was like the 11th that year.
Yeah, 11th in PPR, 4th in standard. Yeah. It's absurd.
See, that is a testament to playing every single season, every single game.
Terry,
That's a good point.
That's what I
McLaurin,
feel like
wide
gets
receiver
lost
1,
sometimes
draft
when it
him
comes to
now.
rankings. That sometimes guys finish as a wide receiver 1, but like they were scoring wise at 2. They just happened to be around the whole season, which
Mhm.
definitely has its perks. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, he was snapping there, man. 17,
Oh, he
12,
was, no, he was
30.
good. I know that because I had.
Yeah, I remember
So-
that. I remember those
I was
days.
big into that for a while. Then last year he
And
just
then
kind
you
of went away.
traded him
So.
for complete all-stars. Okay. Curtis Samuel. Let's talk about Curtis Samuels.
I like him. Why you put the S on the end, man?
Yeah, you took the S
Everyone-
from Humphreys.
I'm
and added it
taking
to
the S
Sam.
from Humphreys and adding it to all the other receivers.
You can't add it to all the receivers. You can only
Yes,
add
I
it to
can.
one.
There's enough. Yeah, Adam Humphreys has enough S's to go around.
I think he just has the
He's a
one.
baller.
Actually.
I
He
like
just
him.
has the one.
I will say Curtis Samuel. Oh, the thing is, I think he has a hamstring injury right now, so that's like
Oh my
bad.
God, Diami Brown season. I've told you guys this whole time.
Until he gets a one deep bomb and he's wide open and just brick hands it. He's gonna get benched for the rest of the season.
I'm telling you, Diami Brown is
Gonna be
going to
tough.
be a really good receiver. Whether or not it's going to be a Tyler Johnson route or a T. Higgins route, it's going to be one of these outcomes.
I will say Diami. I say Diami won't be a
Probably won't be 6'2" next year.
Good, yeah, I think he's gonna be 6. I don't think he's gonna be 6'4" either. I don't know about that.
Sleeper might change that.
Yeah, Sleeper will
Change your
probably list him at
mind.
6'8".
He's like 7 foot, 500 pounds. And then you see the game and you just see this monster out on the field. You're like, what the hell? Did Mo Alley Cox get traded to the Washington Redskins
Sleeper
football team? And then
on
it's just
drugs.
Diami Brown.
Oh man, Mo Alley Cox, what a guy.
Oh, man.
Good. We're not there
Okay.
yet.
Yeah, so Terry McLaurin, wide receiver 1. Adam Humphries, wide receiver 1.
Curtis Samuels, wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
Diami Brown, wide receiver, top 10.
In all seriousness, though, Curtis Samuels can be drafted. I mean, it's okay to draft him. Do you guys think he's going to be, like, I don't know, good?
The only thing, like I said about the injury thing, like that's
Yeah,
my
look this
concern.
man up. soft tissue injuries are
Worries
awful.
me.
They're nagging.
Those are-
Hamstrings are the worst ones to get.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so early, so they can rest him. But like, if they play it wrong, which the Washington
Probably will.
health staff is pretty bad, being that their history.
Tyron Smith. No, what's his name? Trent Williams.
Alex Smith.
Trent Williams, Alex Smith. Yeah, all that.
So we might see Curtis Samuels with one leg and be like, oh,
Don't
well,
do that.
shit.
Don't wish that upon him.
I'm not wishing it. I'm just saying.
You already said it.
Don't say it. All right. I think Curtis Samuel will be a decent wide receiver 3, high end. I'll say that. Diami Brown's going to be a useless wide receiver 5, and Terry McLaurin will be a top tier wide receiver 1.
I think Diami Brown's gonna be good.
And then you got Cam Sims, who I think is going to be wide receiver 4.
I see Curtis Samuels having a bumpy year.
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
he's going to have his games, but I don't see him
That seems like the
being a
definition of a wide
consistent
receiver
dude.
3.
That does.
Yeah.
Bumpy.
All right.
Be a
It's
bumpy ride.
fine.
The definition of wide receiver 5, Diami Brown, useless.
That's Van Jeff.
Oh.
Don't just bench.
You're throwing some haymakers.
He wasn't even a wide receiver 5.
All right, Van Jefferson or Diami Brown?
Ben Jefferson by
No way. It's Diami
Too.
Brown. This year, I'd go Van. I'll even say it myself. I'll go
Dynasty,
Van Jefferson.
man.
Oh, Dynasty, I'm going Diami.
I'm going both Van.
Redraft,
Going
I'm going Van.
Y'all will be burnt. I'm just going to say that.
Van the man
Not gonna be burnt.
stands the damned. Okay.
I am not gonna be burnt. Now, real question is Logan Thomas tight end 1?
Probably, because tight ends suck. And he is utilized, honestly, kind of well.
I don't know if he's going to get targets without Alex Smith.
Really?
Not at that point. Not at that level that he did last year. No way.
But
He's getting a lot.
what type of weapons do they have? Like, Washington is lacking a big body dude.
We just argued
Big body
about,
dude.
4 of their receivers.
Yeah, but they're not big
3
body.
of their receivers.
Like,
But
Logan
dude,
Thomas
big
will
body.
have some.
You need to have a 6'6" player to catch balls out there.
I mean,
Prerequisite
some
for
teams.
having an NFL team.
I feel like it's useful to have a
Have
big
to have
body
somebody that
dude.
big. I feel like he
look up
could
Logan.
very well be a tight end 1 because there
Cam
are no-
Sims is 6'5".
6'6".
You got
Cam
Sims.
Sims is
6'6".
6'5".
And you're
Cam Sims, tight
saying,
end 1.
all right,
Wide receiver.
you do you.
Samis Reyes, whatever his name is.
Yeah, we're not going that deep.
Stud.
Come on.
He's not deep, man. He's really
Antonio Gibson.
Antonio Gibson?
top
Oh,
10
we just
running back.
surpassed him.
surpassed.
Out of all the sophomore running backs, I think he's got the highest downside. However, he's got the
I would
highest
say Cam
ceiling.
Akers probably has a lower downside than
Fuck.
Gibson
Well,
or
now,
Rudolph.
yeah, of course. Oh, I think this guy who just tore his Achilles.
Okay, you're the one that said it, Brandon.
I said, not him. I
Out
didn't
of all
say
the
Cam
You said out of all
Akers.
the sophomore running backs, he has the highest downside. I think you meant to say lowest downside. Highest would mean that he actually has
Okay, the worst
highest
downside. He's
floor.
got the worst downside. I refuse to say what you're
Even
saying.
worse than DeAndre Swift.
I think he could be fine.
What do you? Oh, okay, this is the thing. Are you including injury and downside?
I think you have to.
I guess so.
That's so
It
unpredictable.
doesn't really change much for me. These guys are fine.
What?
I don't know. I'm not really taking that into consideration. I'm saying I think he's got the lowest downside. So
The lowest floor is what you're saying.
yes, the lowest floor, but also he has a
Most
good
risk.
ceiling. He's got a good ceiling, obviously. I mean, wouldn't be worth taking the downside.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
go.
think he has any downside besides
I'm
injury.
gonna go. Probably missing a name. JT 1.
Yes,
Dobbins.
I go that. And then
Gibson,
I guess
Swift,
Swift.
Swift and CH.
Oh wait, whoa. JT.
Am I missing a name?
No, I don't think so.
No, those are the three. JT, Dobbins, CEH, Swift, Gibson.
I think I'm gonna have to switch CH and Gibson in your rankings.
JT, Gibson, CH, Dobbins, Swift.
Sleeping on Dobbins.
I love Dobbins. I just don't. He's not going to be getting the targets that CH getting, targets that Gibson's getting.
I mean, Dobbins can play.
I think y'all are sleeping on Gibby heavy Gib sleep.
I mean, I put him over CEH and Swift. So I mean,
Heavy Gibbs sleep.
But not Dobbins, man.
Where did Gibbs sleep?
wait, Brandon, did you say Dobbins over CH?
I did actually, yeah.
So accept the trade right now.
Oh shit, yeah.
I
No,
was waiting for that. I was gonna say, why
Yeah.
hasn't this happened yet? If
no.
No clue at all. Alrighty. Well, wide receivers on the we already did it.
so we just talked.
Already did it.
Yeah, we talked up
that's
this
it.
entire team.
So
We
this is-
talked a
And
lot.
this whole Washington team is stout. I like all the positions. Logan Thomas is the only dude in a dynasty league where I wouldn't take. I take all other positions in a dynasty league.
even Fitzpatrick or Taylor Heineke.
Great dynasty.
I mean, Fitzpatrick, for what he is, sure. I mean, I'm saying you're not drafting Ryan Fitzpatrick like you would Dak Prescott. So yeah, I would take Ryan Fitzpatrick.
MVP season incoming for Ryan Fitzmagic. Just wait on it.
Rated here
No,
first.
that's
You heard it here first. Choice.
Dak is back and he's gonna be MVP, my guy.
No.
That does it.
Alrighty. Well,
It does do.
this is the outro. So, like, comment, share, subscribe.
And if you don't,
I think I asked this question before, fellas, but I'm just gonna dive into it. Boneless or bone-in chicken wings?
boneless.
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 Good.
Boneless, as long as they're done right, because too many times boneless wings are trash.
They're just chunks of chicken with
That's
like.
fair.
They're
Like,
chunks
can
of
say that
chicken
for either
breading
one.
with like chicken byproduct in the center. And yeah, I mean, you can definitely screw up bone-in wings, but
I just think it's
That's
more
fair.
convenient.
it's definitely
That's honestly what burns down to me. I don't feel like biting around a bone. Like to
boneless
me,
wings
I don't
have a
even
higher
freaking
ceiling.
care. Like I'd rather
Higher
just
ceiling.
bite into it and be done, not
They have a much
to
higher
bite around a
ceiling.
bone.
they're the Antonio Gibson of running backs.
But the lowest
They're like-
floor, because you can get a fatty one. Fatty
Oh.
Gibbs sleep.
Fatty Gib floor.
Yeah, watch out for the old fat Gibson.
All right.
He turns into Eddie Lacy this season.
Puts on 40 pounds in this offseason.
That's that Panda Express, man. It's banging. Alrighty. Like,
First choice fantasy.
comment, share, subscribe. It's First Choice Podcast / Fantasy.
Yeah,
Out of here. Deuces.
Fat Gibson
Like
son.
my Hal.
Gibbs.